Currently, for the fourth time in a week, an unidentified object has been spotted and shot down over North America. Thus, the issue is whether or not these two are connected in some way above Alaska. President Biden ordered the military to shoot down the UFO, and they did so. In less than a week, the U.S. military has shot down 4 mysterious objects over the United States and Canada. On February 10th, an unidentified flying object was shot down 10 miles off the frozen shore of Alaska. On February 11th, a U.S. fighter jet shot down a UFO above Canada. A week previously, a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon was shot down over North America. The U.S. administration is once again suppressing information from the public regarding extraterrestrials. Watch to the end to uncover all the alarming details regarding why so many unidentified objects have been shot down since March 2021. The U.S. government has received over 350 new UFO reports through the month of January. Among the 366 newly discovered UAP recordings, 161 were classified as balloons or balloon-like objects, with more than half exhibiting unremarkable features. The other unimpressive sightings were categorized as drones or drone-like objects, or attributable to weather variations. 171 UFOs have yet to be identified as having anomalous flight characteristics or performance capabilities, according to a study from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Nonetheless, a small proportion of UFO encounters continue to be a mystery. Some believe these unidentified flying objects are evidence of extraterrestrial life, while others say they are clandestine military planes or unidentified natural phenomena. Nevertheless, this does not solve the question of why the U.S. has suddenly begun shooting them down. What has changed in the past week for the U.S. to adopt a new perspective on UFOs? Previous Chinese spy balloons over the United States were previously classified as UFOs, which may explain why top U.S. authorities were not told in real time of the invasions. A Chinese surveillance balloon floated through American skies for about a week before being shot down by an F-22 fighter jet off the coast of South Carolina on Saturday, February 4th. On the same day, the U.S. military disclosed that similar Chinese balloons had violated U.S. airspace at least 3 times during President Donald Trump's administration. It spanned January 2017 until January 2021. Even the highest-ranking military officials in the United States took time to learn about UFOs because some sightings were initially labeled UAPs, the new name given to UFOs over the past 2 years as the Pentagon and intelligence agencies increased their efforts to find explanations for many of these incidents. Some of them were classed as Chinese spy balloons. It is unclear when the Pentagon concluded that the instances were the result of Chinese espionage. When the decision was reached, officials kept the information secret to avoid notifying China that their surveillance activities had been exposed, according to The Times, citing anonymous U.S. officials. In recent years, the United States Department of Defense has developed a bigger and much more public interest in UAP. In May 2021, the Pentagon, for instance, announced the formation of a UAP task group whose primary mission is to detect, assess, and catalog UAPs that may represent a danger to U.S. national security. Pentagon officials said in a brief statement a few months later that the Department of Defense established the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, in July 2022 to track UAP in space, the air, and even underwater if any venture into that domain. Last month, the Department of Defense's Office of the Director of National Intelligence issued a long-awaited report on UAP as mandated by the 2022 National Defense Authorization Act. The unclassified report investigates 510 UAP sightings, and unfortunately, approximately one-third of the 510 sightings, 171 to be exact, remain unidentified and unattributed according to the report. However, nearly the same number, 163, were identified as balloons or balloon-like structures, and it is uncertain how many of those were foreign surveillance vessels. Chinese officials have also apologized for the recent balloon incursion. However, they have claimed that the airship was a harmless scientific vessel collecting meteorological data that was blown off course over the United States. This explanation does not hold water with the U.S. military, as the airship was actually a PRC surveillance balloon, according to an unnamed DoD official in a Pentagon update. Saturday, February 11th, an American fighter jet following orders from President Biden and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau shot down another unidentified flying object in the latest chapter of the unfolding drama in North American skies. I ordered the destruction of an unidentified flying object that violated Canadian airspace, Mr. Trudeau stated in a tweet. As was the case with the object that Mr. Biden had ordered to be shot down close to Alaska on Friday, an American F-22 from the North American Aerospace Defense Command, which is jointly run by the U.S. and Canada, shot down the object over the Yukon Territory. Officials stated that they had yet to determine exactly what had been blasted out of the sky over the Alaska bordering Yukon Territory. Mr. Trudeau claimed that he spoke with President Joe Biden on Saturday afternoon, and that the Canadian Armed Forces will now recover and investigate the object's debris. Mr. Biden and Mr. Trudeau discussed the importance of recovering the object in order to determine more information about its purpose or origin, the White House said in a statement following the shootdown. The Federal Aviation Administration briefly closed an area near Montana to air traffic late Saturday. The agency used the same terminology. The United States shot down a Chinese surveillance balloon off the coast of South Carolina a week earlier. Later, NORAD and U.S. Northern Command issued a joint statement stating that NORAD identified a radar anomaly and dispatched fighter planes to investigate, but discovered no correlation between the radar hits and the radar abnormality. Officials have conceded that heightened awareness may lead to false positives. Based on Pentagon officials, the object shot down over the Yukon was detected on radar as it passed over Alaska late on Friday. NORAD dispatched American fighter jets to track it, which were joined by Canadian fighters. General Rioters stated that Defense Secretary Louis J. Austin spoke by phone with his Canadian counterpart Anita Anand on Saturday. Ms. Anand described the object as cylindrical and said it was smaller than the spy balloon that had been shot down over the Atlantic the previous weekend. American intelligence agencies have determined that China's spy balloon program is part of a global surveillance effort designed to collect information on the military capabilities of countries around the world. Some officials believe that balloon flights are part of China's efforts to hone its ability to collect data on American military bases, which it is most interested in, as well as those of other nations in the event of a conflict or military confrontation. Increased tensions, according to U.S. authorities. The Chinese balloon program worked from numerous places on Friday, one day prior to the 11th of February incident, in which U.S. officials revealed in a press conference that the military had shot down an unidentified flying object over the Arctic Ocean near Alaska. John F. Kirby, a spokesperson for the National Security Council, stated that the object was shot down out of an abundance of caution. Subsequently, troops from the United States Northern Command collaborated with Alaska National Guard units, the FBI, and local law enforcement in Deadhorse, Alaska, to recover and identify the object. It should be noted that the recovery operations are taking place on sea ice in frigid temperatures and with limited daylight. The United States has for a long time monitored UFOs that enter American airspace, and officials believe that surveillance operations by foreign powers, whether balloons or other airborne clutter, may explain the most recent occurrence of unidentified aerial phenomena UFOs, as well as many previous incidents. However, according to a report that was made public in 2021, almost all of the incidents continued to be classified as officially unexplained, and intelligence agencies are expecting the situation to remain that way for the foreseeable future.